Jack had spent almost 10 years guiding tourists through one of the most beautiful forests in Oregon. The forest was famous for its massive trees, hidden waterfalls, and a trail that disappeared deep into the mountains. But locals knew something tourists didn't. There was a part of the forest where no one went after sunset. Jack called it Black Pine Trail. He never took tourists there. Not because it was dangerous, because every person who entered that trail came back with the same strange story. They heard someone calling their name. One rainy afternoon, Jack was guiding 6 tourists back toward the main road when he noticed someone standing between the trees. A girl. She was completely soaked. She wasn't carrying a backpack. She wasn't wearing a raincoat. And strangely, there were no footprints behind her. Jack stopped. "Are you lost?" The girl looked at him. "My name is Emily." Jack nodded. "Emily, where are your friends?" She pointed deeper into the forest. "They're waiting for me." Jack looked behind her. "Where?" Emily smiled. "Down the trail." Jack immediately felt uncomfortable. That trail was Black Pine Trail. The tourists begged him to help her, so Jack reluctantly agreed. But before entering the trail, he noticed something strange. Emily wasn't looking at the path. She was looking at him, like she already knew exactly where he was going. They walked for almost 20 minutes. Then one of the tourists asked, "Jack, why are we walking in circles?" Jack stopped. He checked his compass. The needle was spinning. Emily whispered, "Don't follow the compass." Jack turned toward her. "How do you know?" Emily smiled. "I've been here before." Then they heard a scream. Everyone froze. It came from somewhere ahead. A woman's voice. "Help me!" One tourist started running toward it. Jack grabbed him. "Don't." The man stared at him. "That could be someone hurt." Jack pointed toward the trees. "Listen." The scream came again. "Help me!" But this time, it sounded exactly like the tourist's own voice. Everyone went silent. Then Emily whispered, "It knows we're here." Jack looked at her. "What knows?" Emily didn't answer. Instead, she pointed behind him. There was a tree. Carved into its bark were dozens of names. Jack stepped closer. His blood went cold. The newest name was Jack. He touched the carving. It looked fresh. Jack turned toward Emily. "How did that get here?" Emily stared at him. "I didn't carve it." Suddenly, something moved between the trees. Jack shouted, "Run!" Everyone started running. Branches scratched against them. The forest seemed to change around them. Every path looked identical. Then Jack saw a cabin. An old wooden cabin hidden between the trees. He pushed the door open. Everyone rushed inside. Jack slammed the door. Silence. Then, 3 knocks. Knock. 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 Nobody moved. Another 3 knocks. Knock. 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 Jack whispered, "Don't open it." Emily suddenly started crying. Jack looked at her. "What happened?" she whispered. "It knows I came back." Jack stared at her. "What does that mean?" Emily looked toward the basement door. "It killed me here." Everyone went silent. Jack slowly shook his head. "What?" Emily pointed toward the basement. "I died in this forest 12 years ago." One tourist laughed nervously. "That's not funny." Emily looked at him. "I wasn't joking." The basement door suddenly opened. Nobody touched it. Cold air rushed through the cabin. Jack picked up a flashlight. "Stay here." He walked down the stairs. At the bottom was an old room. The walls were covered with photographs. Tourists. Hundreds of them. Some photographs were decades old. Jack looked closer. Then he saw Emily, a photograph of her standing in the forest. The date underneath said, October 14th, 2014. Jack's hands began shaking. Then he found another photograph. It showed Emily, standing beside him. Jack stepped backward. Impossible. He had never met her before. At least, he thought he hadn't. Suddenly, Emily appeared behind him. Jack. He turned. What? She whispered. You need to remember. The lights went out. Jack heard footsteps above them, then screaming. He ran upstairs. The cabin was empty. The tourists were gone. Only Emily remained. Jack grabbed her shoulders. Where are they? Emily pointed toward the forest. They followed the voices. Jack ran outside. He found the tourists standing in a circle between the trees. All of them were staring at something. Jack followed their eyes. There was a huge black tree in front of them, and carved into it were 6 names, the tourists' names. Jack screamed, "Get away from that tree!" They turned, but their faces looked confused. One of them asked, "Who are you?" Jack froze. "What?" The tourist looked at him. "We've never seen you before." Jack looked at Emily. She was crying. Then she whispered, "Now you remember." Jack's head suddenly filled with memories. A car accident, rain, a forest road, a group of tourists, a girl named Emily, and himself, leading them into Black Pine Trail. Jack remembered everything. He had been the guide 12 years ago. He had brought 6 tourists into the forest. They never came back, including Emily. And Jack had disappeared with them. The person standing in the forest today wasn't Jack. It was the memory of Jack. The same night repeating itself every few years. Another guide, another group, another victim. Emily stepped closer. "You always forget." Jack looked at her. "How do we stop it?" Emily pointed toward the black tree. "Someone has to stay." The forest suddenly became silent. No birds, no wind, nothing. Jack understood. He walked toward the tree. Emily grabbed his arm. "Jack." He smiled. "This time, you're going home." Jack placed his hand against the tree. The ground began shaking. The tourists screamed. The tree cracked open. A darkness seemed to move beneath the bark. Jack whispered, "You've had us long enough." Then everything went black. The next morning, hikers found 6 tourists standing safely beside the main road. They remembered nothing, except one thing. A man named Jack had saved them. But there was no guide named Jack working in the area. And when police searched the forest, they found an old wooden sign near Black Pine Trail. The sign had one sentence carved into it. Jack's Tours, closed since 2014. Below it was a photograph. Jack was standing beside Emily. Both were smiling. And beneath the photograph, someone had carved a new name. Emily. The police said the carving looked fresh. But the strangest part? When they returned the next morning, Emily's name was gone, and a new name had appeared. The name of the police officer who found the sign.